Okay guys, so Ninja Andrew here, and today I'm going to be starting a brand new set of videos where I'm going to be taking a look at some of the power sets and loadouts for the power sets that are available in DC Universe Online. So the very first power set I'm going to look at is the Gadgets power set, because obviously that's the one I've played the most and probably know the most about. At least I hope so. And basically I'm just going to be giving a very basic overview of my opinions of each of the powers that are available, and sort of what they do and what they're good for and what you can use them with and stuff like that. So I'm also going to be doing a set of videos on the loadouts that you can build with each of these, so don't worry about that. Those videos are coming. This video is just to help avoid some of the confusion that could be created by getting into all of that, because there really is just like way too much information to cover in one video for any power in this game. So hopefully you guys will find this helpful, and hopefully you guys will be able to use this to maybe help build some of your own loadouts, even with other powers. And I will be trying to get to all of them eventually. So it's going to take some time, but sit back and relax, and we will try to get through all of them. Woot! So to start out, we're going to go into the tactics menu here for gadgets. And we're going to start with Taser Pull. So Taser Pull is a power over time ability. You need this for your controllers. There's another move in the other tree called the Sticky Bomb, which also does power interactions. Also restores power to group over time. So you can also use this move to do the exact same ability for the controller. It does the same amount of power out. It's the same kind of ability, they're just slightly different, so they're very interchangeable. And I've already screwed up what I said I was going to do, so I'm going to start over. Alright guys, so taking a look here at our powers menu, I'm just going to go very, very straight through. So, Taser Pull, this is good for a troller, mostly, PvE or PvP, because you need this to generate power. So, the two... this is so complicated. Okay guys, so taking a look at here in the tactics menu, we're going to start with Taser Pull. Taser Pull is a power over time move that you need as a controller. I find this move to be useful in PvP, although there are builds that you can build to use this in PvE as well, so it's not terrible. It just tends to pull enemies towards you, where you want that in PvP, but you don't want that in PvE so much. So the other power over time ability from the other tree tends to work a little bit better. This power, because of the electrifies enemy power interaction, is good for the electric, burning, and frostbite controller, as well as the if you are using the sentry turret as a controller or a DPS, you can use this move to add electrified interactions to help you get your burning on, but it's not 100% necessary. So next moves here, we have Fear Gas. Fear Gas is a DPS centric move that goes along with the sentry turret and the Taser Pull, so that's the loadout that it is built into. You also have Stealth here. Stealth is not 100% useful. You can use it, but it takes so long for it to recharge that I know that this is supposed to be used with various loadouts, but I just never end up using it. It takes way too long to recharge. The next move we have here is Defibrillator. This move is for controllers only. You won't need this as a DPS. This move is to throw power out to the group over time. Trollers should be using this like bread and butter because you need to throw that power out to the group, and this is how you do it. So you combine your power over time, you throw that out, it starts charging everybody up on a low increase, and then you have the defibrillator to boost everybody up, which is thus gives the name of the defibrillator, because you're sort of boosting everybody with it, shocking them back to life. So then we have here the Bunker Buster Supercharge. Bunker Buster Supercharge is good for DPS. PvP especially, I find, just because of how it interacts with the targets, that you can do it and get away and use it fairly effectively. Okay, and Battle Display is also used with the suppressor turret and can be also used by controllers with that combination, but it may be a little bit hard to figure out exactly what moves you need to have in combination compared to a DPS using Battle Awareness, because more of the Battle Awareness moves work with DPS than with Trolls, so it just may be hard to figure that specific power interaction out, but I'll cover that out in a Battle Awareness loadouts video, so check that out to have a little bit more in-depth explanation of how to build a loadout with it. We have Battle Drone here. This is a supercharge that gives out power to the group. This is probably the best Troller supercharge in the game in my opinion, because you can use it so frequently that you can just keep throwing it out, whereas the Word of Power, you often end up having to wait for it to charge up as the team suffers before you can throw it out and give it to everybody. This one sort of keeps everybody at a good level no matter what, so it's definitely a controller move though, not good for DPS. Gauss Grenade. This move is for actually controllers with the electrified, burning, and frostbite interactions. The DPS interactions are burning frostbite without electricity. So because this is an electric centric and it does and also interacts with frostbite, that's why I say that it goes with the controller interactions rather than the DPS. This is just my opinion, but you'll see in loadouts why that is. We also have Cryo Foam here. This is a debuff. This is going to ground target and reduce their ability to heal. This is a PvP debuff. You need this one in your PvP loadout if you're using the electrified burning frostbite combo of Cryo Foam and Cryo Field. It's a very excellent PvP combo of powers, and it's actually what I use myself, so I'll be showing that in one of the next two upcoming videos, just to show you guys how that all works together. But just know that there are other abilities like this one here, which says burning and frostbitten. This one doesn't work as well as this one does, because this one's a debuff for controllers. This one's the equivalent for DPS. So continuing on, Neural Neutralizer is, as you can see, the power interaction says it's dazed enemies take additional damage. This is part of the dazed DPS, and actually it's dazed DPS specific. You wouldn't use this on a controller. So I'll be covering this when I build my dazed DPS loadout. Similarly with the Paralyzing Dart, and the Cryo Field is, as I've said, goes with the controller electric burning frostbite loadout. The Paralyzing Dart here goes with the stealth loadout, just to make sure that I mentioned that. And this one goes with the non-stealth loadout. So Actually, this one may even go with the sentry turret and the rest of that. So well, no, it's dazed, so never mind. Dazed DPS only. Okay, so the next power tree here that we have is devices. So Sticky Bomb is the equivalent of the taser pull from the other one, but where that one you use it to build the electrified burning frostbite controller, this one you use to build the dazing controller. So as you can see, it dazes enemies, making them vulnerable to dazing effects. So basically you want to combine that with the other dazing effects rather than using this with the electric burning, because you're not going to get as much use out of it. Just if you like, oh, I don't like how taser pull works, but let me throw this in because it restores power. It's like because you're not getting the benefit of the electrifying of the taser pull as doing dazing instead, you should really be building a dazing loadout around this particular ability. So as we continue through here, we have Intimidation. This is essentially your weapons buff for all DPS. Some DPSs, it puts it on like up to 4 characters, and you'll see it on their hands, and everybody will have it. This one just buffs you by yourself, so it's not too bad, but you do end up using it a lot in your DPS loadouts. We also have Holographic Decoy. I believe Holographic Decoy is part of the Suppressor Turret series of loadouts, and that you use it in conjunction with the Suppressor Turret, probably in PvP, to help mitigate some of the damage that you would be taking otherwise. So it's not really useful for PvE. You have Distract here. Distract is actually like kind of useful PvE and PvP. This is part of the stealth loadouts, and you can do a lot of damage with that loadout if you know what you're doing. It's not easy to use, and it costs a lot of marks to buy all the abilities that you need for it. So and it also works with the battle awareness power interaction. So just something to keep in mind. This goes with like the sleeping dart from the last page and all that stuff, so it's part of that combo. You have here the anesthetic. I would pretty much consider this to be like a PvP supercharge, because it charges up often enough that you could use it effectively in a PvP match to help heal yourself. So I figure PvP probably for the DPS, probably not so much for the troller. And then you have another supercharge over here, asphyxiation gas. This is another one that you can probably swap PvE or PvP. Just there are some times that you probably don't want to use it, and there's probably some times that you do, just depending on whether you're fighting lots of adds or not, because if it's only on a single target, I don't think you get as much out of it as the Bunker Buster from the other side. So just something to think about. If you're using it on lots of adds, it's probably just fine for that. So here we have the Suppressor Turret. As we can see, it inflicts burning to make enemies vulnerable to burning effects. So this essentially, because it's already inflicting burning, you can get the frostbite effects directly off of this, and it means that you don't need to have the taser pull necessarily in your loadout. You can, and you can build loadouts around it, but you could also combine this in other various ways to make other loadouts. Although I will say that the suppressor turret is probably more useful for PvP. It's probably going to give you more useful power interactions for PvP, and you're going to probably be able to use it in more places in PvP. There's a lot of places in this game where if you have something like a suppressor turret that's just going to keep automatically shooting something, like the medic's shield and the Fortress of Solitude, or like some of the enemies in the throne room, it's going to set off their shields and it's going to probably kill the whole team. So PvP only would be my suggestion for suppressor turret loadouts. As much fun as they are, that's what I think that the main place you should be using them is. You have the Vortex Cannon here. Vortex Cannon is a debuff for controllers as well, so this is going to be pretty much a controller only move, although you will use it for the dazing interaction for DPSs, but reduces the target's damage output and removes damage roll buffs. So this is going to reduce the enemy's ability to damage you, whereas this one over here reduces the enemy's defenses, that reduces their ability to defend against the damage that you're doing to them. So if you're in PvE, you pretty much want two moves like this that work in conjunction with each other, and I would highly suggest these two specifically for a combination for PvE controller debuffing. I'll just go back and mention here that on these two moves on the other side, it's the same thing. You have this debuff is for PvP. It's the one that reduces their ability to heal. You need that for PvP to stop the healer from healing the team so that you can actually kill them. And the control roll on here also reduces enemy defenses. But because it electrifies enemies, it's more useful in conjunction with this move rather than the ones that are on the other side. So use these two for your controller PvP loadout, and use these two for your controller PvE loadout, and that will give you the best abilities within each of those, so that you'll be able to work functionally with the rest of your team. So the last three moves here, we have the Napalm Grenade. You can see it inflicts burning, and frostbitten or electrified enemies take additional damage. So this is again one of the moves that can work in conjunction with the suppressor turret, the fear gas, the taser pole, and that particular line of combos, so that you can it's essentially like you pull up the suppressor turret, and then the suppressor turret starts burning them. You start adding a bunch of other stuff that burns and frostbites and puts them in like foam and stuff like that, and it looks really cool and it works really well for PvP. If you like playing maybe more of a less direct role, if you like hiding behind your turret instead of being directly in combat, it's not as bad. So just something to think about. But the rest of the dazed combos are actually pretty good for being up in there. But I'll get into all that. I'm trying not to get into too much. So we have Photon Blast here. This is a good move. Depending on what kind of loadout you're trying to build, you can use this for a controller to get a distance damage move out of it, because it's not a terrible distance damage move. And for DPS, this is obviously a great move to use in conjunction with other stuff. Once you get them down to below 35% health, this will just bomb the damage off them. But it may not be as practical to try and put it into loadouts when you have other moves that may work better than this particular one. So then the last move here is the EMP Pulse. And as you can see, the power interactions, electrified enemies take additional damage. So as I've said, this move also works in conjunction with Cryo Field, Cryo Foam, Fear Gas, Gauss Grenade, Napalm Grenade, Stasis Field, like all of those moves that are listed there. So it's kind of good for every loadout to have the EMP in if they can afford it, but there are certain power interactive combos here that don't build up enough for it to be worth it to put in to your loadout. So it's sort of like, if you're getting the bonus from the electrified, then use it. If you're not getting the bonus from the electrified, then you have to figure out how you're going to get the extra damage out of it. And there are ways, using like the stealth loadout you can do it, and using the turret loadout you can do it, but you just have to know where it should be in your rotation and how often you should be throwing it, because you only get the bonus of the damage of it if you've got the other interactions going. So that pretty much covers all the abilities. So I'm going to be doing loadout videos, as some of you may be able to tell, for a electric burning frostbite controller, a sentry turret based controller, a dazing based controller, and then I'm also going to do dazing based DPS. I'm going to do the sentry turret based DPS, if I can figure out how to do it, because I'm still working on trying to figure out exactly all the moves I need. And then I'm also going to try doing the stealth based DPS, which is probably going to be the hardest one, and I'll save it for last, but I'm going to work up towards being able to do that. If I can figure out how to do a stealth-based controller, I'll add that in, but I'm not sure if that's 100% practical given the moves that are available. So just something to think about as far as if you guys are looking at your abilities and stuff, is to try and match up the power interactions with the moves that you absolutely need to have, so that you get the best combination of overall moves for your powers and abilities that you're really trying to do. And hopefully I'll be able to help illustrate that with some more of the videos that I'll be doing soon. So thank you for joining me, guys. The next video that I'll be doing is on my PvP controller loadout, so please join me for that, and hopefully more will become clear with that, and continue watching the series. And if you like it, hit that like button, and I'll continue making more for all of the power sets that I possibly can, and all of the different loadouts that I can possibly imagine. So thank you for joining me, guys, and I will catch you again later. Woot!